Alright, so we're going to try something new here. I'm going to make a little video to go along with my original written version of my opinions that I keep on my blog. Just a little something, so if you don't feel like actually having to read it, you can maybe just listen to it instead or watch it and whatever. So we're going to start off, we're going to do this for Castlevania Harmony of Despair. Nice little Xbox Live reincarnation of everybody's favorite Castlevania game. Gone is the normal plot line that you would achieve by playing classic games, but instead they've included this nifty thing called multiplayer, which you can see right there. And what this does is allows you and up to 5 of your friends to join into one big game and go about a object-oriented kind of goal, such as kill the boss in various stages. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you some of the selections here. There's numerous characters to choose from. You know, a handful, mostly all DS characters, with the one difference being Alucard, who's from way back when, and everybody's favorite PlayStation Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. And each character plays like they would in their own game, which is a nice little way of adding replay value. Of course, you're thinking to yourself, but what if there's 6 people playing and multiple people pick the same person? How do you tell them apart? Well, that's easy, because each person comes with many different colors you can choose from. Ooh, we're getting fancy now. And it doesn't really make any effect gameplay-wise with what color you pick, except for with a few exceptions, like in Jonathan's case here. His uppercut will change color depending on what color you pick. Just minor little detail. There's 6 different stages that can be picked from. Each one is a rather large map for the most part, with the one boss at the end, or in the process of the end, that you must beat in order to beat the stage. Nice and simple idea, really. And each map comes with a normal and hard difficulty, which the only difference is you take more damage and some of the bad guys change to a little bit stronger version of what they normally are. Just for the sake of showing this off, I'm just going to go through a quick normal Chapter 1, because it's short and to the point for the most part. Also to note, each character has stats, which, intents and purposes, you don't really change at all. The only thing that can change it is the gear that you equip. And some characters can't even really equip that much gear. In the case of Jonathan here, you can't equip a weapon. It's just not something he can do. He has the Vampire Killer Whip, and that's all he has. In the case of Alucard or Soma, there's a large bank of weaponry ranging from swords, axes, fists, throwing weapons, handguns, rocket launchers, just utter madness in the number of weapons. However, each character does have, what you'll see right down here, special moves. In the case of Alucard, his classic spells like Soul Steal or Dark Metamorphosis. In the case of Jonathan, it's your classic Castlevania weaponry, such as the axe, the cross, a couple new ones like the kunai and the shuriken. There's also a wrecking ball and a few other tasty little bits. And for some of the characters, it's straight up magical spells such as Fireball or Lightning. They might have different names, but same idea. Here in the defensive gear section, you'll notice that you got a bunch of different things you can equip to your person, such as a hat, chest piece, sandals or boots, a cape, to accessory items which can either raise your stats, or in the case of the Master Ring, it helps increase the rate at which your special moves level. Because each character's special moves level in different ways. Some characters, the more you capture it, the higher level it is. Other characters, the more you use it, the faster the level it goes. Pretty simple concept after you get a hold of it. Super Potion, it's just something to heal in case of an emergency. And that's pretty much all that this item section is. It's something to either bring back your health or bring back your magic by use of in-game. And most items you can use 3 of and hold on to them. In the case of the Super Potion, it's so super mighty that you can only carry 1. Also good for Jonathan, he gets martial arts, which really it's just a fancy classic Street Fighter style moves that pull off another attack, which can be cool and at the same time isn't always useful either. There's plenty of monsters in the game. And of course you can go through and check all the stats on them nice and easy. That way if you need to check up on how many souls you need to get as Soma, because he collects souls, you can go and do that in here. You can see what items they drop, what their weaknesses are. And of course they give you an item compendium for all the different types of weapons and items, in case you wanted to look at that. You can set the window settings and the screen size and stuff. We'll get more into that later. There's also a shop where you can buy things. Not that you really necessarily have to, because you can find most of the stuff you really need in the game, and normally it's stronger. A little play mechanic note, just for the review here, is that in the case of Jonathan, his whip starts off rather weak, but by finding his sub-weapons like the cross, it'll get stronger. Also by leveling them. Right there you can see the axe in action and the cross. He's got such things as the drop kick, his whip, classic holding out kind of whip, so you can do all kinds of little tricks if you want, and really it doesn't really do so much outside of normal where everything dies with one hit anyways. You can slide across the ground, you can backdash. If you hold down your left trigger, it's going to pop up with the item that you can use. In the case of Jonathan, the right bumper doesn't really do so much anything useful for him outside of block, which of course, you know, reduces the damage that you receive from getting hit by an enemy's attack. Treasure chests are the new addition to this as well. You open it, you get an item or a treasure of some sort, or in later stages sometimes they're actually just enemies in disguise. Right there, you'll see the axe that the guy dropped. This is how you would actually find the sub-item for Jonathan to equip. Is an enemy would drop it, and then you would collect it to initially get it. From there, it's all, the more you use it, the more it levels, the higher the level of it is, the stronger it is, and the more damage your attack and the whip does. Everybody can do a double jump. Handy for navigation. That might be hard to little see, but that is a shuriken. The blue chest right here, when you're playing multiplayer, drops what they use, life water, I believe is what they call it. And what that does is it works as a way to revive your friends when they die. You can only carry one of them, so it inspires teamwork because everybody wants to hold on to one just in case. There's more treasure elsewhere, but for the sake of trying to keep this shorter, I'm going to just streamline through it because chances are I'm going to host this on YouTube, and they don't let me post very big videos. So I might even actually have to cut out early, but we'll see what happens, shall we? Now, you also notice I mentioned martial arts for Jonathan. That fist being one of them. Classic Castlevania trick. They like hiding food in walls. Eat the food, get your health back. It also does a stat boost. This is a temporary boost for only pretty much while you're in the stage. But it can come in handy for that last second boost before you fight a boss, or just a general way of keeping you from dying that much better. Now, as mentioned before, the stages are rather large. And the variety of bad guys is also equally large. And what you'll see here, that beam attack that came down actually belongs to the boss, which if I zoom out, which you can do by clicking your stick, you can see him in the upper right corner where it says target. And you can set what kind of zoom and what level of zoom you actually have, so that if you didn't want the all the way zoom out or the minimum zoom out, you could actually set it to get rid of those. I'm gonna jump through the water here. And you'll see when I hit this switch, the door down there goes up. That way, if I was playing with other people, which sometimes happens, they could actually wait down there for that door to open and then go that way to fight a boss, as opposed to running the entire long path gamut to get there. Also, way down there at the bottom of that, you can't really see it from the vantage point I'm at, is a book, which in this game functions as a spot to change out what items you have equipped, in case you should want to change on the fly. You'll see the backslide get put to good use right there. And in a dynamic boss fight, we all go flying down to the bottom. Each boss tends to have their own special way of killing them if you want to go about finding it. In this case, if you break off the ankle armor of this boss, it's the easiest spot to hit. After beating the boss, they drop the fabled golden treasure chest and you get a fancy item or spell or weapon for your time. And of course it gives you a score at the end, and really the main draw to replay it over and over again comes from having the various characters. The stages never really change, but when you add in other characters, there's a whole group mechanic that starts happening where you start teaming up on things to make it easier. And honestly, I wouldn't pay a full price for it, but since it is on Xbox Live, you can't complain about a game like this for $15. And although there's only 6 stages, I've spent countless hours playing this game, more so than even I expected I would. Just having fun remembering all the good old Castlevania days that I used to have.